Hi gang, Rob here at the Edge Power Sport. We're going to take a little secret walk behind one of our little hidden little areas here. It's actually where we do all our suspension work. A lot of people don't realize it, but there's actually only 3 WP service centers in the United States, and we're actually one of them. There's one on the West Coast, one on the East Coast, and we're right in the middle handling all the stuff here in the Midwest here. So we're going to give you a little sneak peek on just some of the things that we do there and kind of go over some things that you can get for your bike, and we can actually do some really special magic stuff to your suspension. So let's take a peek back here and just kind of sneak around the corner here. We're always very limited on space here at the shop, so it's a little compressed. So right here is basically where we do all our magic on our suspension room. You can see all of our service tools for all our special suspension components. We actually have a shock vacuum unit, very, very high end. WP is leasing this to us, I should say. Nothing's for free in life. And this really helps us dial in the rear shocks and get them all set up. Some things you're seeing here, just some shims for the shock assemblies. And then these are all the shims for all our valve stacks for all the shocks. So we can really go through and really dial it in. This is just some spare parts from one of the suspension jobs that we did. So if you're ever curious, there's a lot of these little valve shim stacks that go into your assembly. And I can give you kind of a small view of what one of those looks like, just so you've got a basic idea. So all these can really change the way your suspension works for you, and just make the bike yours is really the whole goal. Because it's great to buy the bike that you always dream of, but really our whole goal is to get the bike working for you, because we all have a little different riding habits, little riding styles, and we're all different shapes and sizes, so all these little things can help. Right here, what we've got, basically this is the top of one of our factory shocks. It's basically, if you look right here, these are all the little shim stacks. This is the top compression valve body. There's a bunch of teeny little shims right here, and this all affects how that compression, how that fluid flows through. I may have mentioned before, when you're fiddling with these little clicker adjustments, that's all you're doing is controlling fluid flow through these valve stacks. So I like to use terms like turning the water off to firm it up, turning the water on to make it a little softer when it comes to compression. You can kind of get an idea how that might function in your head. So right here, this is actually an older air chamber off of one of the forks. You can see we've pulled all the little Schrader valve out of there so we can install it into the new one. This one just had a bad seal in here, so that gets replaced, and then you're good to go. So that's an air chamber right there. You notice there's not a whole lot of tension. There's a little spring in there, but you can actually hear the air escape as I move that back and forth, just because it doesn't have that Schrader valve. This one right here is actually, we did a kit conversion. So basically, this comes out of your factory shock assembly, or fork assembly, excuse me. This comes out of your factory fork assembly, and then we drop in an A-kit assembly. And those are pretty affordable, respectively. I mean, a full setup would run you about $4,600 for forks and everything. For the drop-in kits, you're looking at about $1,500 to $1,600 before labor on that. So you can basically turn your stock suspension into a factory A-kit suspension. Really helps out. I've actually done the same setup on mine. Works amazing. I love it. I wouldn't change it back for the world. Right here, this is actually your rebound mid-valve body here. You can see all those different shims in there. So that's actually what we go through. We really go through and we tailor all these different shims to where the bike suspension is actually going to work good for you, how you're riding, what type of riding you're doing out there. One thing that we really request, and that's going to help you out and benefit, is that when you're asking for the suspension work, be honest. Just say, hey, look, this is my riding capability. I'm not an expert rider by any means out on the dirt. And supermoto, that's a different story, but dirt, that's a whole nother scene for me. So I adjust my suspension to where it's gonna work for me in those situations. So that's gonna be the best thing for you, and maybe as those skills improve and maybe you get a little more hardcore into the riding, maybe you can fiddle with that suspension a little bit more, or maybe you just like it where it's at. So like I said, all this we can really tune in and make it to where it's set up for you. So when you are purchasing a bike, and I hear this a lot when I'm doing my walkarounds with new clients and on their bikes, is they're going to take their suspension and take it somewhere else and have it redone. Well, a lot of times, I'm not knocking some of those outfits, but I have heard some of those outfits. They're really just pulling up the shim stack specs off Racetech and giving you that. It's not secret magic sauce that they're coming with. They're just looking at the shim stack list that Racetech supplies, and then they go with that. Makes it real easy. There's not a whole lot of head thinking on it, but if you want something like, if you want Stewart's suspension setup, if you want Sexton's suspension setup, Barsha's setup, we have all that information that's available to us through WP and Husqvarna, Gas, KTM. So we can really tailor things to where it's set up for you. Or if you want some of that special secret stuff that not everyone's got available to them, we've got that information. So hopefully that gives you kind of a little sneak peek view on some of the little magic we're doing back here. You can see some of the mid-project situations. This is actually just a shock off of one of our units. So just things that we're working on. So I don't want to fiddle with too much of that project, or we'll end up spreading their job all over the place. So if you want to have any of that suspension done, definitely seek us out. We can definitely help you out. If you're out of state, give us a shout or contact us through Facebook, YouTube, Instagram. We can definitely help you out on that. Or just give us a shout. If you're in the area, stop on by. We can definitely help you out on that. So this gives you a little example on what we can do on the bikes. If you want to do the drop-in kits, or maybe get a full A-kit suspension, our parts department can definitely help you out on all that information. We can get you set up. Either way, you're not going to lose that. It's definitely beneficial on the bike. So if that's something you want to check out, give us a shout. Contact us through Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, or just give us a shout at here at the shop. Or if you're in the area, stop on by. We'd love to spend some time with you and give you a little deeper insight on what's going on with the suspension and how we can make it yours. So hopefully that's good information for you, gang. We'll see you next time. Thanks.